Alright, so picture this. You wake up inside a giant, ever-shifting mansion, and the only thing standing between you and owning the whole place is finding one single room. Room 46. Sounds easy, right? Well, not in Blueprints. Every time you think you're getting close, the mansion decides to rearrange itself like it's trolling you on purpose. Doors lead to places they shouldn't, rooms vanish into thin air, and your sense of direction? Gone. Totally gone. But here's where things get even weirder. Every time you step into a new room, you'll see its name pop up at the bottom of your screen. And right underneath, there's this mysterious rank. It keeps going up, but the game never tells you what it means. Is it tracking progress, danger level, room popularity? Who knows? That's exactly what we're digging into today. In this video, we're breaking down room ranks and Blueprints, what they are, how they work, and how you can raise them like a pro while exploring this creepy, ever-changing mansion. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking Blueprints in Blueprints. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching! The Blueprints in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, furnace, bookshop, showroom, maid's chamber, lavatory, laundry room, her ladyship's chamber, vault, and room 8. Alright, let's be real for a second. Some rooms in Blueprints feel less like mysterious mansion discoveries, and more like the developers just wanted to troll us. These are the rooms you walk into and immediately think, why? Why is this even here? Yeah, we're diving into the D-tier Blueprints, the rooms you only pick if you're chasing achievements or pretending to care about lore. Let's start with the furnace. Ah yes, because what everyone really wanted in a creepy, ever-shifting mansion was another bad room. You walk in hoping for some cool upgrade or mysterious clue, but nope, just a glorified oven that adds absolutely nothing to your run except regret. Thanks, furnace. Very cool. Next up, the bookshop. This one should honestly be renamed to the lore room because that's all it's good for. If you enjoy reading vague notes about the history of the mansion instead of surviving it, congrats. This is your paradise. For everyone else, it's the perfect spot to waste time while pretending you're making progress. Now, the showroom, or as I like to call it, the shiny disappointment. It's full of fancy, expensive-looking items that scream, look but don't touch. Sure, the emerald necklace is actually a great pickup, once. You buy it, you stash it in the coat check, and then you never, ever step foot in this room again. Everything else is just overpriced decoration baiting your coins away. Then there's the maid's chamber, which sounds promising until you realize it's basically a bedroom with more downsides. It counts as a bedroom for the sake of your blueprint collection, but good luck getting anything useful out of it. It's like the developers said, what if we made a room that technically helps, but mostly just hurts? Mission accomplished. And don't even get me started on the lavatory. It's literally just a bathtub. That's it. No secrets, no items, no hidden mechanics. You open the door, see the tub, stare at it for 3 seconds, and move on with your life questioning your decisions. The laundry room tries to sound useful. Swap currencies, it says. But let's be honest, when do you ever have that much spare money lying around and feel like paying an extra coin fee just to do it? This room is the financial equivalent of trying to trade your last sandwich for half a cookie. Oh, and then there's her ladyship's chamber. The most effort for the least payoff. You basically have to beg the game to make this room appear, and when it finally does, the effect it gives you is completely pointless. It's like spending hours farming for a legendary item, only to realize it gives you +1 charisma in a game with no dialogue options. Finally, we have the Vault and Room 8, a dynamic duo of disappointment. The Vault can give you 40 coins, which sounds nice until you realize that 9 times out of 10, it's just going to mess with your allowance or trigger that cursed freezer room. And Room 8, you unlock it with a special key only to find a puzzle. That's literally it, a single puzzle room. Congrats, you did all that work for something you could have found on level 2. So yeah, these are the D-tier Blueprints. Rooms so bad you'd almost think they were included as a dare. If you're looking for lore, go for it. But if you're trying to survive the mansion and keep your sanity intact, do yourself a favor and just skip these entirely. The Blueprints in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, archives, patio, master bedroom, bunk room, chamber of mirrors, locker room, storeroom, passageway, servant quarters, mail room, pantry, walk-in closet, and spare room. You ever walk into a room and just sigh? Not because it's terrifying or game-ending, but because it's there. That's the vibe of the C-tier Blueprints in Blueprints. They're not totally useless. They try, bless their little digital hearts, but most of them just end up being disappointing side characters in your mansion story. Let's start with the archives. This one gives you a bad permanent run effect right off the bat, so, great start. But to be fair, it hides a few secrets and can actually split power in up to 4 directions, which can be useful in very specific setups. Sometimes, if the RNG gods are kind, you'll find an item here or get a nice combo synergy. But most of the time, it's like reading an ancient scroll that says, "Better luck next run." Then we've got the patio. Sounds lovely, right? A quiet spot to breathe amidst the chaos? Wrong. It often turns into a green room with absolutely nothing in it. Just vibes and wasted potential. If you wanted to take a break from gameplay, sure, step into the patio. Otherwise, it's basically a glorified loading screen. The master bedroom is a weird one. It's rare, like really rare, but even when you finally draft it, you realize you didn't actually need it. It's like finding a golden ticket to a concert you didn't even want to go to. There's a reason this room doesn't define any runs. It looks cool on paper, but in practice, it's a luxury you didn't ask for. Next up, the bunk room, which is only good if you're running some combo with the nursery or the sleeping mask. Outside of that, it's just a dead-end room you'll immediately regret drafting. It feels like the devs designed it at 4 a.m. and said, "Hey, it's fine." It's not fine, it's the room equivalent of lukewarm coffee. Then there's the Chamber of Mirrors, which sounds super mystical, until you realize all it does is re-roll your starter rooms. That's great when you want to re-roll, but when you're desperately trying to reach the antechamber, it's just a headache. The only thing it really reflects is your bad decision-making. The locker room is, well, a mess. It spreads your keys all over the place, so unless you've got a metal detector or a conference room handy, good luck finding them. It's the digital version of losing your car keys and tearing your house apart, except now it's happening inside a cursed mansion. The storeroom deserves an award for being the sure why not pick of the bunch. You don't hate it, but you're definitely not excited about it either. It's the definition of settling. The kind of room you draft when you have no better options and just want to keep the run going. And finally, we've got the rest of the almost good but not quite gang. The passageway, servant quarters, mail room, pantry, walk-in closet, and spare room. The passageway is pure gamble. Costs a gem and maybe gives you what you want. Maybe doesn't. The servant quarters sounds amazing on paper, giving you 1 key per bedroom, but it never really changes your fate. The mail room lets you send yourself a boost for the next day, but half the time it sends you junk mail. The pantry is nice early on, 4 coins and a fruit? Sweet! Until step bonuses make it pointless. The walk-in closet pretends to be an item room but mostly spawns cupcakes instead of gear, and the spare room? It's literally just a hallway. No bonuses, no flair, just hallway energy. So yeah, C-tier rooms aren't terrible, they're just painfully average. They're the kind of rooms you tolerate, not celebrate. You pick them, sigh, and move on. Because deep down, you know you deserve better. The blueprints in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, chapel, cloister, secret passage, boudoir, aquarium, freezer, boiler room, drafting studio, rumpus room, wine cellar, weight room, locksmith, drawing room, music room, nook, attic, closet, gallery, and observatory. You know those rooms in blueprints that make you go, not bad, not great either? Yeah, that's the B tier gang. They're the kind of rooms that don't ruin your run, but they're also not the reason you win it. They have their moments, little flashes of usefulness, but for every high, there's usually an equal and opposite, well, that sucks, attached. Let's break down these neutral heroes of the mansion. First up, the chapel. A room that loves giving and taking in equal measure. You lose 1 coin every time you enter, which already hurts if you're broke, but it does like to make it up to you by dropping a small item or some currency on the side altar. Plus, let's just say this room holds some secrets that make it more interesting than it first appears. Think of it as that friend who always charges you for gas but sometimes buys you lunch later. Next, the cloister. 3 doors, safe layout, quiet vibes, and yes, more secrets. It doesn't do anything flashy, but it's a reliable room that won't sabotage your run. Sometimes that's all you need. A stable, unproblematic space in a mansion full of chaos. It's like the emotional support room of blueprints. The secret passage is where things start getting spicy. It's usually a trap for your resources. It costs a bit too much to use, but man, when it works, it works. It's great for repositioning, escaping a bad layout, or pulling off clever combos. Basically, it's like buying a risky stock that occasionally skyrockets in value. Then there's the boudoir, which sounds fancy, looks empty, and somehow still ends up being useful. It counts as a bedroom, gives you bedroom bonuses, sometimes drops a small item, and even has a safe tucked away inside. It's like walking into a minimalist apartment and realizing every single piece of furniture has hidden storage. Moving on to the aquarium, which I love and hate equally. Activating all your room-based items at once is amazing. It's like Christmas morning for your build, but it's also a red room, meaning it can absolutely mess you up at the wrong time. Still, it occasionally drops items in the barrel, and that tiny bonus makes it just enticing enough to risk it. The freezer is what I call the bank account room. It lets you store your gems and coins for another round. Super handy if you're planning ahead. But if you're mid-run and still trying to push forward, it can freeze your assets and trap your momentum. It's also a dead end, so sometimes it feels less like a vault and more like a timeout corner. The boiler room is all about power. Literal power. It can give your mansion layout a nice little boost, but honestly, you rarely need power that much. So, it ends up being a solid 2-door filler room with the occasional surprise shovel spawn. Think of it as the handyman room. Not glamorous, but dependable. Then there's the drafting studio, where you can unlock new floors. The first few times you find it, you feel like a genius architect expanding your domain. Then you realize, it's just another hallway now. Once it's served its purpose, it just exists, like that one coworker who peaked during the onboarding process. Now let's talk about the wine cellar and rumpus room. Both overhyped in the lore, both fine, but forgettable. The rumpus room gives you 8 coins and a little bit of lore, and that's it. Nothing terrible, just fine. The wine cellar, meanwhile, teases you like it's some big narrative payoff, but really just hands you 3 gems in a dead end. Not bad, but definitely not worth the buzz. And finally, the rest of the pretty good, not great crew. Weight room, locksmith, drawing room, music room, nook, attic, closet, gallery, and observatory. They all have their moments. Weight room hides juicy secrets behind that lose half your steps punishment. Locksmith sells keys but always when you're broke, and drawing room gives you a re-roll but no loot. The music room and nook are decent in the early game, while the attic and closet can be wildcards that either launch or crash your run. The gallery rewards puzzle solvers with a lasting perk, and the observatory shines early on but fades as the days go by. Together they form the yeah, that's fine backbone of blueprints. So overall, B-tier rooms are the definition of balance. Sometimes clutch, sometimes cringe. They won't make or break your run, but they'll absolutely add some flavor to it. You won't remember all of them, but when one of these rooms saves you from disaster, you'll silently nod and whisper, "All right, maybe you're all right after all." The blueprints in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, dark room, kitchen, great hall, west wing hall, coat check, study ballroom, gymnasium, commissary, veranda, east wing hall, hallway, guest room, pump room, the pool, library, trophy room, den, parlor, rotunda, and office. Some rooms in blueprints just hit different. You walk in, the lighting feels right, the music shifts, and suddenly you know you just drafted something good. Welcome to the A-tier rooms, the ones that usually make your run smoother, richer, and more interesting. Sure, they're not flawless, a few come with caveats or cost you some resources, but when they show up, you almost always want to grab them. Let's kick things off with the dark room, which sounds way scarier than it actually is. Yeah, picking a room blindly can be nerve-wracking, but the downside is surprisingly easy to control. Once the lights are on, you're guaranteed a small item and 2 doors to explore. That's value. It's risky on paper, but in practice, it's like betting on black and hitting every time. Then there's the kitchen, which honestly flirts with S-tier status. The catch? You need coins. Lots of them. If you can afford the food, it's a massive power-up station that keeps your run alive and kicking. Plus, the sink can refill your watering can, which is a lifesaver in longer runs. The kitchen is basically your mansion's version of a 5-star pit stop. The Great Hall is just pure utility. Tons of doors, plenty of items, and most importantly, a reliable route to the antechamber. The trade-off? You'll need a ridiculous number of keys, and you might accidentally open into a dead end. But if you've got the right tools, this room becomes the mansion's central hub, the architectural equivalent of holding all the power cards. The coat check might not sound exciting, but don't underestimate it. Being able to store an item, and especially one you've crafted or bought, can completely change the course of future runs. Maybe you stash an emerald necklace from the showroom, or something even rarer. Either way, this room lets you play the long game, turning you into the mansion's ultimate strategist. Next up, the study, which is like your personal command center. You can re-roll rooms using excess gems, and there's a safe that always contains a free item. The only reason it's not S tier is that you need spare gems to make it work, and it dead ends. Still, when it shows up mid-run, it's one of those rooms that makes you feel smart for drafting it. The ballroom brings the bling. It's your go-to gem generator, a reliable way to keep your wealth flowing. The downside is that it can wipe your existing gem stash and requires a lot of walking back and forth to refresh it. It's a little grindy, but hey, if you like the idea of turning your run into a gem-based economy simulator, this is your place. Let's talk about the Gymnasium, a red room that's more friend than foe. Normally, red rooms hurt, but this one's downsides are easily negated if you've got a utility room. It can also spawn a small item on the bench, making it an unexpectedly generous pick. Think of it as a high-risk workout with great loot potential. The library is another heavy hitter. Forcing a rare room to spawn can be game-changing, especially if you're chasing something specific like the Rotunda or Trophy Room. You can also find currency or food on the table, and the balcony's record-keeping is perfect for puzzle enthusiasts. It's one of those rooms that rewards both planners and explorers alike. And of course, we've got rooms like the Rotunda, Guest Room, Office, and Pump Room, each of which brings serious value to your run. The Rotunda might as well be S tier with its ability to guarantee 3 doors and perfect room orientation. The Guest Room gives plus 10 steps early on, a huge tempo boost. The Office throws in free coins and an item from its safe every time, while the Pump Room unlocks massive portions of the game's content, giving you long-term progression benefits. Rounding out the pack are the Veranda, Hallway, Den, Parlor, Trophy Room, and both East and West Wing halls. The Veranda helps you score big items from green rooms, at a drafting cost. The Hallway and Wing halls expand your mansion routes effortlessly, and rooms like the Den and Parlor make the early game way smoother with guaranteed gems and small items. The Trophy Room, meanwhile, just dumps plus 8 gems into your lap. What's not to love? In short, A-tier rooms are the mansion's MVPs. They keep your runs alive, reward smart players, and give you the kind of advantages that can turn a doomed expedition into a glorious success. They're not perfect, but in the unpredictable world of blueprints, they're about as close as you're gonna get.
The blueprints in this tier are in order from top left to bottom right: secret garden, greenhouse, corridor, nursery, laboratory, security, garage, courtyard, terrace, foyer, bedroom, dining room, sauna, workshop, foundation, billiard room, conference room, and utility closet. Some rooms in blueprints don't just feel good, they feel, they feel essential. You know the ones I'm talking about. The rooms you draft and instantly think, yes. This is exactly what I needed. Welcome to the S-tier blueprints. The cream of the crop. Most runs will want these rooms, and for good reason. Let's start with the secret garden. This room is basically a self-sustaining buffet for your mansion, covering it in fruit that prolongs your run. On top of that, it contains a permanent path to unlock the anti-chamber. If you draft this room, you're setting yourself up for long-term dominance. It's the gift that keeps on giving. The greenhouse is another powerhouse. Not only can it drop multiple gems and a guaranteed large item, but it also gives you access to the anti-chamber lever required. It's basically like a mini treasure trove tucked inside a lush, plant-filled paradise. Drafting it early or mid-run is almost always worth it. Then there's the corridor, which is deceptively simple but incredibly strategic. One guaranteed unlocked door might not sound flashy, but late in the game, it can bail you out when you're out of keys and need a reliable way to move between levels. Timing this draft can turn a desperate situation into a smooth, controlled run. The nursery is pure early game gold. Draft it early and every subsequent bedroom draft gives you insane value. On top of that, a small item often spawns on the nightstand, which adds another layer of consistency. It's like setting up a domino chain that pays dividends every time you play it right. The laboratory is where the real trickery begins. The computer terminal lets you create broken combos. Think regenerating steps in red rooms, while also frequently spawning locked chests or items on the table. It's a room for planners, for thinkers, for anyone who likes bending the game to their will. Security pairs well with the laboratory, giving you near complete control of the mansion's keyboard system. You can check for missed items without manually searching, and late game it becomes even more powerful. Drafting this room feels like getting an instant map and cheat sheet rolled into one. The garage is invaluable when keys are scarce. It guarantees 3 keys, and can even spawn secrets if you know where to place it. A single draft can make future runs significantly smoother, and sometimes it gives you access to hidden parts of the mansion. It's a strategic gem. Early game support rooms like the courtyard and terrace are also S tier for their obvious utility. The courtyard gives 2 doors and a high chance of a large item or locked chest, while the terrace can make every green room free. Sometimes, raw efficiency like this is all you need to dominate a run. Then we have rooms like the foyer, bedroom, dining room, and sauna, all of which boost movement, steps, or items in ways that are consistently useful. The foyer unlocks every hallway. The bedroom saves steps by connecting key areas, the dining room adds doors and step bonuses, and the sauna guarantees a small item while granting 20 steps for your next day. These rooms are reliable workhorses. Finally, the workshop, foundation, billiard room, conference room, and utility closet round out the S tier. The workshop crafts unique items and guarantees a large item. Foundation sets up future runs for success. The billiard room guarantees keys, sometimes even a secret garden key. The conference room removes spread factors to maximize value, and the utility closet controls power, neutralizing tricky red rooms. Drafting these rooms is almost always a win. They're the backbone of any successful run. S-tier rooms don't just help your run, they define it. When these blueprints show up, your options expand, your strategy solidifies, and the mansion suddenly feels like a playground you actually control. They're the ultimate value picks, and any serious player knows you never pass one up. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.